my market suck? Just kidding, but I am going to wrap up my market for you since I've been taking you on the journey so far. In this video, I'm going to tell you about how my market went, like my general experience of doing a market selling crochet stuff for the first ever time, what sold well, what didn't sell, and stick around to hear what I would do differently next time and what I am going to do now that the market frenzy is over. So my general market experience was good. I had a really fun time. It was a lovely day. It was really hot. I spoke in my last market video about how it was meant to be like quite cool. That did not happen. It was so humid. I felt like we were melting half the time. But we were right near the music, which I mentioned, and that was so vibey. It was really nice just to be able to kind of like stand and have a boogie when sales were a bit slow. It was apparently a quiet market. A lot of the vendors that I spoke to were saying that it wasn't as like busy as a normal market. I don't know whether that's because people are just like burnt out around Christmas time, or like people were doing their shopping late, or there were actually, I think, quite a few Christmas markets on in Sydney that same day, so that may have affected it. I met a super lovely ceramicist, and I will tag them up here, and she always vends at this market and said that it was like way quieter than normal and was encouraging me to give it another go in the new year. I met some lovely vendors. I met some kind of cynical vendors, but maybe that was just because it was like hot and slow for them, and yeah. Overall, I had fun. In terms of stuff that sold, I'm gonna give an honorable mention to my pickles. I only sold 2 of them, but they had so many comments made about them, like people walking past being like, oh my god, there's pickles, oh my gosh, look at the pickles in the jar. Like, they were a big talking point, and I feel like they brought quite a few people to the stand. And I did sell 2 of them, and one of them, it was so cute. There was these like 2 kids, and they stood, no joke, staring like a meter away, staring at my stall for like genuinely like 5 minutes, just like and then eventually the thing that they chose was a pickle. I don't know, it was a very considered decision though, so good job, pickles. In terms of my actual bestsellers though, the chickens went really well. I sold a few of the small ones, and I completely sold out of my 2 big ones. Both of them went to like big chicken lovers. So I had them at $45, so that's pretty good. The octopuses sold well. I did not end up putting them on keyrings. They were just on their own. The mushy boys were really slow to start. Like, I didn't sell any for the first kind of half of the day, and then in the second half of the day, like, sold a bunch. So that was great. And my whales sold pretty well, but my bestseller was my little flockers, which I think I probably could have guessed that because they're very cute, and they were also like a very accessible price point, and I had them like front corner of my stand for people to see and like be drawn in by. Those are my bestsellers. Onto my stuff that did not sell. These are ones that I sold none of. I guess bearing in mind a lot of them I only had one of. But I had a few of the large chubby bunnies and the large mushrooms, and neither of those had any sales. The tree baubles, I ended up only putting 1 out, and it did not sell. That's fine. My Yeti, the little ghost keychain, my 2 carrots, my Stella squid, none of those sold. My Bunny Buddy didn't sell, which I'm not surprised by because it was like the most expensive thing, and I feel like it worked in terms of it made other things seem like a good price. And I guess this could have been another honorable mention, but my goose and mallard, like sleepy birds, did not sell, but had lots of interest. I think they were just like a slightly too high price point, which I knew going into it. So I did have a really lovely experience actually with someone who bought my little cow pal and also like a couple of other things. And when I like rung it up for them, they were like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, oh gosh, like maybe they didn't check the prices on them and they think they're too expensive or whatever. And I was like, yeah, that's it. And they were like, "It seems too cheap." And I was like, oh. So that made me really happy. It made me feel a little bit more confident in my pricing and made me realize that people are willing to pay what things are worth. You just have to find those people. Two other things that didn't sell, the Cali Coco and the leggy frogs, which I made so many leggy frogs because everywhere I read, like, I can't make them fast enough, but I think we're just a different market here in Australia. But anyway, I didn't sell any of those, but I listed everything on my Etsy shop after the market, and my Cali Coco has now sold, and I have sold one or maybe two leggy frogs. So they're starting to find homes. Numbers. So overall, the market cost was $110 for the stall, $37.50 for the insurance. Materials of the stuff I actually sold cost a total of $54.84, and the fees from the square reader that I used were $9.18. So altogether, my outlay for the market was $211.52. And then I sold 31 of the 145 plushies that I made, which, like, 31 sales is great. I also, like, that doesn't include the bookmarks and stuff that I sold, just the plushies. 31 is great. I think I just went a little bit wild and made way too much, and I sort of knew that from the beginning. Anyway, so my income from those plushies plus all the stationery stuff I sold was $736, and that leaves my actual profit at $462.48, which I'm fine with. Like, my goals were really just to break even and like have a good time and test the water out with the market. So the fact that I sold some stuff and got to experience the market vibe and made a profit of like nearly $500, I'm happy with that. I have since sold a few things on my Etsy. I guess all the extra plushies I made aren't going to waste, which is good. And I will have them for the next market, so it's all a good, happy time. Number one, get a tall chair. One no one will tell you about, but my feet hurt so much because I was standing up the whole time, and I brought a chair, and like even Kieran didn't want to sit in it because when you sat in it, you like couldn't see over the table, so it just felt like you were hiding behind the stall. So the vendor next to us had a kind of a bar stool height chair, and I think that would have been way better, and I would have felt more comfortable sort of sitting on it, but being able to, like, as soon as people are there, just half stand up. So I definitely would invest in like a taller chair. The second thing is I would probably next time make some of my items in bigger yarn. So the goose and mallard, like sleepy birds that I mentioned before that didn't sell, I think if they were a bit bigger for the same price point, people wouldn't have been as hesitant, because like some of the kids really loved them and were like, please, 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 please. And I guess for some people it just doesn't seem worth it because it's smaller. I think I would, try and make a few things out of bigger yarn. I think after another market or two, I would condense my amount of stuff that I made. I am happy with the fact that I made a whole bunch of different things to kind of see what people were drawn to and see what people were buying, but I'd probably need to do another couple of markets to sort of get the vibe, especially if this one was a quieter one. But I don't know, I just feel like maybe there was too much going on. I'm happy to be corrected on that if you are a market connoisseur. Number 4, things got like a little bit lost in the crates, even with the shelving. I think I would alternate, like have a couple of crates but then a couple of the shelving type things. And as much as I loved the like little keyring holder, I think it would have maybe been better to have like a pegboard that they were hanging on, because all the different types sort of got a bit lost. If I could like somehow spread them out but still have them hanging, I think that would be great. And I think the other thing, which I guess was like a positive learning, I had taken a bunch of my stationery stuff from my little like bookish shop, and I think it was really good having, I had like bundle deals on my washi tape and on my bookmarks, and I had some notepads there as well, not in a bundle deal, but just the fact that there was something like those can be a lot more accessibly priced. Yeah, I think it was really good having something. I guess crochet plushies aren't for everyone, but like most people either like read books, know people who read books, or just like use stationery in their everyday lives. So it was good having like a little something different, which I know is not helpful if you're a crocheter watching this, but I guess like a lot of crochet people also make stickers and stuff like that that reference yarn in some way, and I think that is a good thing to do. So if you've been thinking about it, having those extra things to sell really helped. And I guess from a crochet perspective, not everyone wants plushies, but I think if I had had a few more like functional items, like I filled this little thing with Tic Tacs to give people who bought stuff, and I actually think if I just like made some little trinket trays or car coasters or something like that, they maybe would have helped sell to people who like don't have kids. That is what I learned. I'm sure there's a lot more. I pretty much did this market and then had like a bunch of Christmas events on, and then I got COVID. So I'm now recovered from COVID, but I just feel like some things have fallen out of my brain. So yeah, if you have any like learnings to add for me, please jump in the comments below and let me know. I've shared my learnings. You can share your learnings if you like. I feel like this market took over my life for like 4 or 5 weeks, maybe more. Really happy I did it. I would 100% do another one, I think in 2024. That'll be good. But aside from market stuff, I have to finish some gifts for Christmas. I also want to just like take a break. I really want to make a top for myself. Oh my gosh, I bought some really gorgeous yarn. It's so pretty. I'm so happy that I found it at Spotlight in the Mill End bags. Hooray! And I also want to keep making YouTube content, so I have some ideas for a couple of tutorials for the chicken and the triceratops that I made for my market. I don't know what other kinds of things you want to see, but feel free to let me know in the comments. I, as you probably know, am like just starting this YouTube venture, so if there's anything you particularly like watching, then I'm all ears. Thank you for coming to my little market wrap up. I will see you next video. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas, and the countdown is on. So if you are a crocheter, I hope you are getting your gifts done and looking after your hands. Cool. Like, comment, subscribe for more fun crochet content, and aggressive thumbs up. All right, bye. I can't even like release this.